ערב טוב וברוכים הבאים לחגיגת יום ההולדת ה-67 למדינת ישראל. אנו קבעו את הטלפונים הסלולריים שלכם. הקהל מתבקש לעמוד לשירת ההמנון האוסטרלי ולהנפת הדגל הלאומי של ישראל.
Good evening and welcome to this evening's celebration of Israel's 67th birthday. Please ensure your phones are silenced. We invite you to please be upstanding for the singing of Advance Australia Fair, followed by the raising of the Israeli flag.
בישראל ממחיש המעבר החד מצער וכאב של יום הזיכרון לחגיגות השמחה של יום העצמאות את הקשר ההדוק בין הנופלים במערכות ישראל שהקריבו את חייהם להקמת המדינה ואת התרוממות הרוח שליוותה ומלווה את מדינת ישראל.
In Israel, the sudden transition from the sorrow and reflection of Yom HaZikaron to the joy and celebration of Yom HaAtzmaut embodies the close connection between the elation that accompanied the establishment of the state and the terrible sacrifice that was necessary to achieve it.
הערב, עם סיום יום הזיכרון והתחלת חגיגות יום העצמאות, אנו גאים על הקשר הקרוב שיש לקהילה שלנו עם מדינת ישראל.
Tonight, as Yom HaZikaron comes to a close and we begin to rejoice, we take great pride in our community's close bonds with Israel.
באירוע זה של חגיגות העצמאות ה-67 של מדינת ישראל, עומדים אנו יד ביד לצידה של מדינת ישראל וחוגגים את הישגיה, תושייתה, עוצמתה, התפתחותה התרבותית ואת המחויבות שלה לצדק חברתי בבית ובעולם כולו.
Please be seated. stand hand in hand with the State of Israel in celebrating her accomplishments and ingenuity, her vitality and cultural vibrancy, and her commitment to social justice at home and around the world.
צעירים אלו מייצגים את העתיד שלנו. אנו עומדים כולנו איתם ויחד עם מדינת ישראל נעשה הכל על מנת ליצור עתיד טוב לעם היהודי. אנא שלבו ידיים אחד עם השני בעודנו שרים את השיר אני ואתה נשנה את העולם.
These young people represent our future. We stand together with them and with Israel in creating a bright future for the Jewish people. Please join hands as we sing Ani Ve'ata. Together we will change the world.
Please welcome to the stage your hosts for tonight, Josh Gashel and Ali Grinberg.
Good evening, members of Parliament, distinguished guests, rabbis, ladies and gentlemen, doctors, lawyers, failures.
Welcome to the Yom Ha'atzmaut 2015 celebrations as we mark Israel's 67th year of independence. Thank you for giving me that wonderful round of applause. I told you they didn't need two hosts this year.
Josh, they only applauded because you finally stopped talking. But don't worry, you're in good company. Obama always gets standing ovations whenever he finishes speaking too.
Now don't worry guys, we can say that about Obama. We're also both terrible at our jobs.
You're Obama fan. But for those of you who don't know us and aren't our friends on Facebook, Instagram or crimestoppers.com.au, I'm Ellie Grinberg.
And I'm Josh Gershell, and we are delighted to be your hosts for tonight's concert, which promises to be a wonderful celebration of all things Israel, from its music to its culture to its excellent drivers.
We have a great lineup of performers who will be taking us on a musical journey through Israel's history, from Arik Einstein to Idan Rachel. So it promises to be a fantastic night on the back of a memorable year for our beloved Israel.
That's right, Ellie. The past 12 months have certainly provided a range of ups and downs for our homeland. Season 4, which was nominated for 3 Emmys this year. And isn't that why we're all here tonight?
No, it's not.
Well, in other entertainment news, Israeli short film Aya was nominated for an Oscar this year, which was a fantastic achievement and the first time that an Israeli film has been recognised outside of the classic cinema. In sport, Maccabi Tel Aviv won the prestigious EuroLeague basketball championship. Which really was no surprise considering how tall and athletic we all are. And in high-tech news, Israeli tech company WaterGen invented a device that can literally create water out of thin air. They call this the tap and insist that it's never been done before.
On the downside, the Backstreet Boys cancelled their Tel Aviv concert, which would have been devastating news if it was 1994. Israel also failed to qualify for the Soccer World Cup, which was surprising given how tall and athletic we all are. And finally, Israel lost in the Eurovision Song Contest to this guy. Lady. All of the above.
But as Theodor Herzl never said, if you're going to lose, let it be to a bearded Austrian lady.
But one of the most notable events that happened in the past year occurred just recently, the Israeli elections. And what caught our eye was not so much the result, but rather the ridiculous nicknames Israeli politicians seem to have.
That's right, there's Benjamin Bibi Netanyahu. Isaac Bougie Herzog. And Moshe Boogie Yalon, who actually is a close colleague of the Minister of Funk, Sean Diddy Combs.
And while these nicknames do make roll call in Israeli parliament sound like an episode of The Muppets, we feel this gives Israeli politics a nice personal touch. So we thought it's time that we showed some solidarity with the politicians of Israel and give our leaders in Australia some of their own wacky nicknames. Don't worry, Ambassador Shmuel Ben Shmuel, your name is already hilarious enough.
So why don't we start at the very top with President of the Zionist Federation of Australia, Dr. Danny Silence of the Land.
We also would have accepted Dr. Danny Had a Little Land.
Or Dr. Danny What's for Dinner? Land.
And how about our old friend, Senator Bob Baby You Can Drive My Car, who is the self-appointed Israeli opposition leader. Sorry, I mean, he's the leader of the opposition to Israel. I always get them mixed up.
Me too. Or how about member for Caulfield, David, hey, didn't you DJ at my bar mitzvah, South?
No, he did, not that I was invited.
Ellie, this is not the time.
And of course, our first speaker of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome President of the Zionist Council of Victoria, Fireman Sam Tataka.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Chag Atzmaut Sameach. Welcome to Israel's 67th birthday celebration. Distinguished guests, Your Excellency Shmuel Ben Shmuel, Ambassador of Israel to Australia, Dr. Danny Lamb, President of the Zionist Federation of Australia, Mr. Philip Chester, immediate past President of the Zionist Federation of Australia, Ms. Jennifer Huppert, who joins us here tonight for the first time as the President of the Jewish Community Council of Victoria, the Honourable Mark Dreyfus MP QC, Shadow Attorney General, Shadow Minister for Arts and Federal Labor Member for Isaacs, who is here representing the Honourable Bill Shorten MP, Leader of the Opposition, Mr. David Southwick MP, Member for Caulfield, who did not DJ at my bar mitzvah, Mr. Nick Stakos MP, Member for Bentley, Mr. Mark Liebler AC, National Chairman, Australia, Israel and Jewish Affairs Council, Mr. John Searle, Chairman, Victorian Equal Opportunity and Human Rights Commission, Commissioner Absalom Neggar, Board Member, Victorian Equal Opportunity and Human Rights Commission, Mr. Graham Leonard AM, Councillor, Victorian Multicultural Commission, and a special welcome to our 7 Zionist youth movements in the Gods. This event, and indeed the work of the Zionist Council of Victoria, would not be possible without the vision and commitment of our valued supporters, partners, patrons and sponsors who are individually acknowledged in your programs and whom we welcome as our special guests of honour. In particular, I would like to acknowledge the Victorian Division of the United Israel Appeal as our principal sponsor and partner in our celebratory and commemorative events for Yom Ha'atzmaut and Yom HaZikaron. The theme of this year's festivities is Yad B'Yad, hand in hand, and indeed Melbourne stands hand in hand with Israel, which at 67 years of age thrives as the nation state and homeland of the Jewish people. Israel is truly a remarkable and amazing country that has achieved so much in its short history and looks set to go on doing so for many years to come. A difficult year at home that saw the deaths of too many at the hands of terrorists and a full-scale military operation in Protective Edge has not prevented Israel from continuing to play a leading humanitarian role in world affairs. Often amongst the first on the ground in cases of natural disasters, Israel, through IsraAid, has been involved in assisting people throughout the world. From training medical personnel in South Sudan, to delivery of emergency response teams, to the victims of last year's typhoons in Vanuatu and the Philippines. From being the largest per capita contributor to the Ebola Response Trust Fund, to the provision of food aid to Kurdish refugees in Iraq. Closer to home, Israel's doctors and hospitals have been delivering life-saving and covert medical aid to Syrian victims of the obscene civil war raging in that country, despite the fact that a state of war continues to exist between Israel and Syria. Israel's high-tech medical and scientific innovations benefit humanity in countless ways, from the simple USB stick we love so much to participation in research and development that will lead to groundbreaking work in the treatment of cancer and other ills that beset mankind. Israel is home to over 250 foreign research and development centres, ranging from the likes of Apple, Google and Microsoft to Johnson & Johnson, General Electric and Philips in the realms of medical imaging. Forget Silicon Valley, Israel is Silicon Wadi. Israel's energy and water efficiency devices have made and will continue to make a major contribution to the world and in reducing demand for these vital resources whilst contributing to the quality of the life of millions. An exhibition of Israel's achievements will be held at Queen's Hall in Parliament again this year in June. This exhibition will be open to the public and you are all cordially invited to avail yourself of the opportunity to visit the exhibition and to see how Israel contributes to the quality of life of the world at large. Tonight we celebrate Israel's independence in the magnificent setting of the Melbourne Recital Centre, and tomorrow night we will again host a family festival at Beth Weitzman Community Centre campus, come rain, hail or shine. In doing so, we are reaching out to young families, steadfast supporters and our youth in an attempt to engage and involve them in our love and support for Israel and for all that Israel represents to the Jewish community of Victoria. In June, we will join with the JCCV and the Parliament of Victoria in marking Yom Ha'atzmaut with a gathering of representatives and leaders from across the Victorian community. The Zionist community of Victoria has the benefit of a very strong relationship with the Victorian Parliament, which the ZCV fosters with the able assistance of David Southwick MP, who did not disco at my bar mitzvah, and Marsha Thompson MP, conveners of the Parliamentary Friends of Israel, the largest friendship group in the Victorian Parliament. Relationships fostered in this way translate into large annual delegations from both sides of the House who visit Israel and come back with new or renewed admiration for the accomplishments of the country. Last night, in a mark of respect for and solidarity with our community, the Premier, Daniel Andrews, took time out from his very busy schedule to join us at the Yom HaZikaron commemoration, for which we thank him. In the coming year, the Zionist Council will continue its efforts in advocating for the State of Israel. We will give the community the opportunity to engage with the issues through the provision of a range of stimulating, thought-provoking and educational activities that give expression to diversity of opinion and perspective. Activities that inform and empower people to engage with Israel and the issues that continue to confront it as it develops in the years to come. At the heart of all of our efforts is the hope that Israel will one day live in peace and harmony amongst its neighbours. May that day indeed come soon. Mazel Tov Israel, Ad 120 Shana and beyond, Chag Atzmaut Sameach. Now my great privilege to welcome His Excellency Shmuel Ben Shmuel, Ambassador of Israel to Australia, to address us.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. You can sing, you can dance. My friend Sam Tatarka, elected officials, Rabbanim, distinguished guests, friends. It is my second year here in Australia celebrating Yom Ha'atzmaut here. I find myself, yes. I find myself overwhelmed by the warmth, the attention and the love the Jewish communities in Australia radiate towards Israel. I have been privileged to be here in this country and see firsthand the most candid manifestation of the profound ties between the State of Israel and the vast Jewish community down under. When I think about the proper description of the Jewish community in Australia, I cannot attach the term diaspora to it because it just doesn't do it justice. Diaspora is a term derived from the Greek word diaspora, as you all know, of course, which means to scatter, to spread, to take apart and uproot. I cannot think of a bigger skewing of reality than this. The Australian Jewish community, with all its heartwarming support, its deep connection to Israel, its proactive events and endeavors, is almost an extension of our homeland, a home away from home. Thank you. Tonight, we celebrate the rebirth of a Jewish national homeland. Independence is still, even after 67 years, a fascinating and ever-complex concept for us. To be independent, to be free, and to have the right to express our own destiny as a people and as a nation was a dream that we kept alive even in the darkest moments of our history. Sovereignty was always a hope, sometimes even a distant hope. But with all the hardship we experienced and against all odds, we never surrendered the dream. And we find ourselves 67 years later with our dream now a reality. At 67, we are far from perfect, but our misconducts are pale against the bigger Middle Eastern story that is unfolding in front of our eyes. When you are deliberately singling Israel out, sometimes something is profoundly wrong. It is the media's responsibility to address this issue, and it's our responsibility to never stop pointing it out. This is one of the biggest tasks we together will have to face in the coming years. Alongside the BDS phenomena, this is something that must be contained. We have to continue to fight against all those who try to break us. Sometimes, in somewhat naive thoughts, I think to myself that it is just too much for a 67-year-old country to go through. We resemble the child born into a hostile environment who has to fight to survive, to exist, battling to see each tomorrow. In the eyes of history, we are this child. We are still a very young nation, but yet already battle-weary, scarred and mature, far beyond our years. Just like this unwanted kid, we have developed survival skills, street smarts. It is manifested in our creativity, innovation, education, and good spirits. We are a nation with chutzpah, a nation with character. Friends, we gather to celebrate a miracle in many respects. That after 2 millennia in exile, a long history of powerlessness, victimhood, and mass murder, after persecution, inquisition, and tragedies, we regrouped as a people and returned to our ancient land. We restored our sovereignty, recultivated our soil, reconstituted our language, and re-emerged out of the ashes of the Holocaust as an outstanding example of the modern spirit of a timeless nation. This determination is our modus operandi. This makes our country like no other. We celebrate not only our establishment, but our existence. We celebrate not only what we have achieved, but what we have prevented. And we celebrate life because only a day before we suffocated under the unbearable toll of death. We celebrate our existence because so many wish to celebrate our destruction. No other country faces such organized attempts to launch boycotts, divestment campaigns, and sanctions against it. No other country has its right to self-defense questioned as Israel does, even though it does no more than any other nation would do if confronted by periodic terrorist assaults and deadly rocket attacks. Distinguished guests, the celebration of Israel's independence, an extraordinary accomplishment by any measure, takes place under the cloud of awareness that the Jewish state cannot be taken for granted. That is why I'm honored to be celebrating this Yom Ha'atzmaut in Australia and here in Melbourne. Our close relationship with Melbourne represents the positive ties we share with the larger Australian population, and the closeness of this friendship suggests a solid future for both nations. I would like to take this opportunity to commend the organizer of this grand event on their achievement in unifying multiple community organizations, which I know is no easy task, particularly with Jewish organizations. But you have proven it's possible. Special thanks to all of the wonderful Jewish youth movement represented here tonight. From Bnei Akiva, from Bnei Akiva to Beitar, from Abonim to Ashomer, to Hineni, to Netzer, to Atzofim. I hope I did not forget any other youth movement. Maybe next year, another one. We Israelis are the luckiest people in the world. We have no oil, no iron ore, no forests, no diamonds, no gold, and only recently have we discovered relatively small deposits of natural gas. We make a lot of fuss about it. Yet to be exploited. And because of that, we had to cultivate our people's talents, which turned out to be the most valuable and only truly renewable resource in the world. Knowledge and skill have become the global currency of the 21st century economies. We see it in Australia and around the world. Israel is one of the most innovative economies, and its population enjoys a standard of living most of the oil-rich countries in our region are unable to offer. Israel is a true success story. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, as we stand together celebrating Israeli Independence Day, let us not forget just how far we have risen. We built a new country from scratch, with roads, houses, and schools. We created agricultural miracles to feed our people. We engineered a successful economy, and we live in the most vibrant democracy. We will not let enduring conflict distract us from our vision or confuse us into thinking survival is our only goal. Survival by itself is not a purpose. As Israel settles into middle age, let us remember, and me as well, by the way, let us remember and be guided not merely by survival, but what we are surviving for, to make our dent in the universe. I wish you all Yom Ha'atzmaut Sameach.
יש לי ציפור קטנה בלב, והיא עושה בי מנגינות של סתיו ושל אביב חורף, של לבבות קטנות, והיא עושה בי מזמורים, והיא צובעת עולמות, והיא פותרת לשירים כמעט את כל החלומות. יש לי בלב ציפור קטנה עם שתי גומות ומנגינה. ניי 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 ניי
performance, and well worth the $40,000 spent on school fees this term. But parents, if it makes you feel any better, Jewish schooling is virtually free in Israel, so...
Josh, I'm sure that makes them feel a whole lot better. But like with Jewish schooling, Israelis just know how to do things. They're creative, they're inventive, they're passionate, even about the smallest of things, like Israeli taxi drivers refusing to turn on the meter. Why is it even there, you might ask? That's not for us chutzniks to understand.
It's this entrepreneurial spirit that has driven Israel's startup culture to amazing heights. Israel is steadily becoming the Silicon Valley of the Middle East, except with more sandals, less Starbucks, and roughly the same amount of Jews.
And it's in this spirit of Israeli innovation that Josh and I have challenged ourselves to create the next great Israeli startup. You've heard of Shark Tank? Well, get ready to play Shark Sugar Tank. Here's how it's going to work. Josh and I are going to pitch you our revolutionary Israeli startup ideas, and you, the Shark Shukers, will decide the winner. Josh, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, start up your engines.
All right, picture yourself. You've just come home from Laffa Bar, Sandwich Bar 55, or Grill Time, that new place that everyone always goes to. And you're ready to hakaran into your delicious takeaway shawarma. It's got hummus, it's got chips, it's got chamutzim. But there's just one thing that doesn't feel right: your grip. See, Jews have been eating their shawarmas in the same fashion for hundreds of years. But surely there's another way, or hundreds of other ways. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the Shawarma Sutra. Choose from hundreds of different shawarma grips. One to suit every occasion. It's my birthday. It's my anniversary. Just hanging out with some friends. It's my third shawarma. The possibilities are endless. See, the Shawarma Sutra is guaranteed to bring that much-needed shawarmance back into your bedroom, or living room, or kitchen, or wherever you eat your shawarma tonight.
Now that's a cute that's a cute idea if you want to make millions of dollars. But what if I told you I had an idea that could make you literally thousands of dollars? Now that I've got your attention, let me talk you through my startup idea. We all love falafel. It's crunchy, it's spicy, it's my favorite bizzly flavor. But there's just one problem: this guy. If you've ever bought a falafel in Israel, chances are you've been served by someone who looks like grumpy old Itzik here. And just to be clear, this is what Itzik looks like when he's smiling. And why shouldn't he be smiling? After all, it's his 16th birthday. But it doesn't have to be this way. Israelis are actually very good-looking people. For example, I'm an Israeli citizen. And so is my ex-girlfriend, supermodel Bar Raffaelli. So it got me thinking, what if we could combine the deliciousness of falafel with the everyday good looks of Bar Raffaelli? Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Bar Raffaelli. At Bar Raffaelli, you don't have to put up with grumpy old men that make Mr. Glick look like Ryan Gosling. Because at Bar Raffaelli, each and every falafel ball is cooked, prepared, and served by Miss Bar Raffaelli herself at each and every one of our 1,000 locations around Israel. But don't just take my word for it. Let's hear from Miss Bar Raffaelli herself. Ladies and gentlemen, Bar Raffaelli. Bar Raffaelli. Well, her shift must have started already.
All right, guys, what's it going to be? Do you want to invest in the Shawarma Sutra?
Or do you want to invest in Bar Raffaelli? Well, looks like I win this round of Shark Sugar Tank. You can all pay me after the show. Now, speaking of great money-making schemes, our next performer is a rabbi.
is not any ordinary poet. Some fans, yeah. No, although he may have a beard, and yes, he may have many leather-bound books, and yes, he may drive a Toyota Tarago full of children, unlike other rabbis, this guy sings in front of women. So tonight, returning again, this year, to sing Return Again by Shlomo Carlebach, please welcome Rav Noah, Return to Sendor.
Return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are born and reborn again. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are born and reborn again. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are born and reborn again. Hashem Kohanim Lavodatam Ulevim Leshiram Levim Leshiram Oziram Hashem Yisrael Hashem Yisrael Hashem Yisrael Hashem Yisrael
Unfortunately, Shimon Gromit couldn't make it tonight, but he sends his regards.
It's great to look up and see so many representatives from our Zionist youth movements in attendance. Simmer down. Your smiley, pimply faces. Kids.
What you should know is that everyone... What you guys should know is that everyone down here loves it when you guys do that. So.
Your smiling, pimply faces brings joy to my heart. But I'm about to lay some truth on you, kids. Israeli children are tougher than Australian children. For example, I can see a B'nai kid on the balcony wearing a helmet in case a beach ball is thrown his way.
You want more proof? Fine. Aussie kids drink their chocolate milk out of a sippy cup with a twirly straw. Y'all know how Israeli kids drink their chocolate milk? Out of a plastic bag. Straight up.
Of toughness comes down to just one word: Bamba. In Israel, every child eats this delicious peanut-flavored snack. It's the national food and everyone loves it. In Australia, if a child even thinks about looking at a peanut, you have to call Hatzalah. Here you go, Josh. Woo!
Crazy?
Sorry.
Look, but not all kosher food is poison, especially the food at Off the Hook, who have recently been voted as one of Melbourne's top 5 kosher fish and chipperies.
To celebrate this massive achievement, our friends at Off the Hook have donated some big prizes to the best singers and dancers in the audience. Now, I've already seen some fantastic singing in the crowd, and unfortunately, I've already seen some dancing that I cannot unsee. I mean, Dad, put your shirt back on.
So this is how it's going to work. Over the rest of the night, we'll have a crack team of Mossad-like agents roaming the audience, looking for people who are singing and dancing along with the music. And the best 4 audience members will each win a $100 Off the Hook voucher to be spent at any one of Off the Hook's 1 locations. Now, just to clarify, this is not a joke. We are literally giving away $400 worth of fish.
That is a lot of fish. And you know, Josh, before we were talking about the differences between Australians and Israelis, but there are also a lot of similarities.
That's right, Ellie. Particularly cosmopolitan Tel Aviv, which is almost the spitting image of our hometown of Melbourne.
That's right.
I mean, for example, they have the bustling boardwalks and crystal clear waters of Tel Aviv Beach.
And we have St Kilda Beach.
They have amazing restaurants featuring some of the most beautiful cuisine in the world.
And we have Kimberley Gardens.
They have dynamic nightlife with funky bars and pumping clubs.
And we have Kimberley Gardens.
That was actually a great night. Apart from the fact that Kimberley's AM radio was broken, I was really in the mood to dance to some Neil Mitchell.
And I hope you're all in the mood to dance now, as our next performer is going to be performing the joyously titled Chayav Lamut Alai.
That's right. Now, remember people, there is battered fish on the line here. So, get up, make some noise, sing and dance along with Miss Rita Sack.
אחד יש את האחת שלו שתזכור איתו מעגל. לכל אחת יש את האחת שלה שיבוא ויפול בגורל כמו בגד לגוף, כמו אוויר לנשימה, ובסוף הטירוף הם מוצאים נחמה. ואת הנשמה המתוקה שלי, היחידה שמדליקה אותי, ואיתך אני כל העולם, ואיתך אני כל היקום. בלעדייך אני חצי בן אדם, בלעדייך אני בעצם לכל אחד יש את החלום שלו שנדמה ואיננו קרב. לכל אחת יש את החלום שלה שיבוא ויסיר את הלב, כמו מים לצמא ולייאוש התקווה, ובים של חיות יש להם אהבה. ואת הנשמה המתוקה שלי, היחידה שמדליקה אותי, ואיתך אני כל העולם, ואיתך אני כל היקום. בלעדייך אני חצי בן אדם, בלעדייך אני בעצם הנשמה המתוקה שלי, היחידה שמדליקה אותי, ואיתך אני כל העולם, ואיתך אני כל היקום. בלעדייך אני חצי בן אדם, בלעדייך אני בעצם, בלעדייך
Thank you, Ari Wenning and Matan Franco, for that wonderful rendition of L'chol Echad Yesh. Written by acclaimed Israeli songwriter Shlomi Shabbat, who is member of the Israeli heavy metal band Black Shabbat.
Now, as we mentioned earlier, there is one thing that us Yidden just aren't known for, and that's sport.
Honesty in business. Sport.
I mean, watching the 100-meter sprint at a Yavna Sports Day is a lot like watching a car crash in slow motion, except a lot slower.
Except for,
the truth is, we just aren't really built for any form of physical activity outside of driving a manual Lexus.
except for one man. That's right, Josh. Every year, an Israeli tennis player ranked somewhere between 354th and 412th in the world comes to town and things get a little mashiga. Tickets to show court 35 at the Australian Open are sold out in seconds.
Garanim shells can be found lining the streets and the rows of Rod Laver Arena, and everyone suddenly becomes Dudi Seller's biggest fan. We all come bearing high hopes of Israeli sporting glory. But inevitably, watching Dudi Seller lose to Rafael Nadal is a lot like watching a car crash in slow motion, except a lot faster.
So why do we keep coming back year after year for more torture? Why do we let the Jewish News sports section fill us with hope? Why is Dudi Seller's face tattooed on my lower back? The answer? Because he's Israeli.
There is just something magical about the bond shared by Jewish people all around the world, particularly with our Israeli brothers and sisters. Whether it's in a youth hostel in Thailand, or a youth hostel in India, or a youth hostel in Peru, when you meet an Israeli, you immediately feel like family.
But it's not just in travel and sports that we band together with our Israeli brothers and sisters. Each year we flock to the classic cinema for the Israeli Film Festival to watch documentaries about Mexposad Sheshbesh champions and crime-fighting Haredi breakdancers. Good movies.
I love Too Fast, Too Furious. We all pretend we know how to cook every time Yotam Ottolenghi releases a new cookbook, which is pretty much every 3 weeks.
And we have more Zionist organizations in our community than Santa Taka has red bow ties.
Yeah, it looks good. Red bow ties. That's right, Ellie. There's the ZCV,
ZFA,
ZYC,
JCCV,
YJP,
YBF,
Why Not BF,
YJLM,
Wheatzo,
NCJW,
WNBA,
HBO,
Netflix, and so many more. See, it is this sense of Achdut that has brought us all here tonight to celebrate Israel's 67th birthday. And no Israeli exemplified and created this sense of togetherness more than legendary singer-songwriter and nuclear physicist Arik Einstein.
No. Josh, I believe that is legendary singer-songwriter Albert Einstein. Arik Einstein is one of Israel's musical legends and created many of the treasured Hebrew songs we all grew up listening to.
That's right, so here to sing a medley of Arik Einstein's most loved songs, please welcome Vered Harel and Matan Franco.
Can you put your hands up? הגוזלים שלי עזבו את הקר, פרסו כנפיים ועפו.
כמה טוב שבאת הביתה, כמה טוב לראות אותך שוב. ספר מה נשמע, ספר איך היה, ולמה לא שלחת גלויה, לא שלחת גלויה. כמה טוב שבאת הביתה, קצת רזה, מה זה חשוב? עשית חיים, עשית דברים, ראית קצת צבעים אחרים, ראית קצת צבעים אחרים, כן, צבעים אחרים.
Thanks a lot, guys. Sorry if I'm a bit out of breath. I've been, dancing up there with all that incredible rock that the youth movements are bringing. Shalom and Chag Sameach, everyone. My name is Gideon Steyer, and I'm the chairperson. And I am the chairperson of the Victorian Zionist Youth Council. And I am proud to be here representing the 7 Victorian Zionist youth movements. You know, those loud and excited teenagers up at the top there. Of course they're excited. As Zionist youth, Yom Ha'atzmaut is one, if not the most exciting and amazing times to be a part of one of these youth movements. Here tonight we have Bnei Akiva. Beitar. Hubbard and Draw. Hineni. Hashomer HaTzair. Netzer. And the Sofit. ceases to amaze me how much these youth movements achieve each and every year. And it's not just incredible camps and weekly Pearl Lots, but also events to celebrate Jewish and Zionist Chagim, programs addressing key current affair issues, and even just music nights to relax and hang out with some of your friends. No matter what events we put on, the date on the calendar that always stands out is Yom Ha'atzmaut. Because no matter our ideological differences, one thing that unites us is our love for the state of Israel. It's that love that makes this Chag a highlight of the year for all youth movement members. Whether you're a Year 2 Chanech who might not fully understand the importance of a Jewish state, a Year 11 who has just returned from a school trip to Israel, or a Madrich who is a few years removed from spending Erev Yom Ha'atzmaut on Ben Yehuda Street, these 7 youth movements will always make this day special. This is because it is one of our major aims of ours. Not to only create Jewish leaders of this community, but to also make sure that all members of all these movements have the ability to connect to Israel in their own way. It is this leadership and education that, in my opinion, and I know I'm not the only one, that makes our youth movements one of, if not the most integral part of the Melbourne Jewish community. I'd like to say thank you to everyone involved in putting on this great concert, and I'd like to thank all of you for listening to me for such a long time. Please enjoy this video of the current crop of Shnayis who are celebrating Yom Ha'atzmaut this year. Thank you, and
We've been learning Jewish history, Israeli society, and Hebrew, and much more.
Then there are B'nai Akiva and Habonim Dror Chanachim on Machon combined from Australia.
We wish you all a Chag Sameach from Hashomer, Australia.
Schnabber.
Thank you, Schnuddies, for taking time out of your busy schedules of eating, learning, and buying fisherman's pants to speak to us tonight.
You know, Ellie, I remember when I was on Schnud back in 2003, a time before Facebook, iPhones, and the 51st American state, the Mamilla Mall. I remember I really struggled with a certain challenge.
What was wrong? You couldn't find fisherman's pants?
Clearly not.
You were homesick?
No.
You were deported from Manila?
Well, yes, but no, my issue was that I couldn't understand Israeli slang. You see, Israelis have a way of talking that uses sounds, hand gestures, and totally made up words to express how they're feeling and to communicate information.
So we thought we'd help out the Schnuddies of 2016 and anyone else planning on visiting Israel or Falafel or Missy with a segment we call...
Wow, Chaval al-Azman, Josh and Elif's Guide to Understanding Israeli Slang, Yalla no Habibi.
Gotta work on that title.
Yeah, work on that title. So it's quite simple. I'm going to say a word or a phrase or just make a general coughing noise, and Ellie will translate this Israeli slang into English. Are you on board? You ready for this? All right. Let's do it. First one. Here we go. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, yalla, bye.
I am ending this conversation abruptly.
No.
A mildly offensive hand gesture.
Sababa.
Cool.
Achla.
Very cool.
Chaval al-Azman.
Really cool.
Ala kefa.
Totally cool.
Sofa derech.
The Coolest, or the title of the 1992 Boyz II Men classic, End of the Road.
Freie.
A sucker or chump.
Deep fryer.
A means by which to cook schnitzel.
Voila.
A term commonly used at the end of magic tricks.
Excuse me, can I ask you a question?
Would you like to buy some Dead Sea products?
And finally, ישר, עד הסוף ושמאלה.
I have no idea of the directions for your journey.
So now all you need to do is wear Crocs with socks and you will be Hachi Yisraeli.
Which is actually the title of our next song performed by Matan Franco and the wonderful Access Drummers.
Give them a clap!
כל דבר הולך נה 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 והדרך מתקצרת איש לאיש ואיש לעם
שלום נאמר יחד נרפא
יד ביד 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 ככה כל דבר הולך והדרך ככה שושלת והדרך מתקצרת יחד לב נפתח ונראה האור שבשמיים יחד לב נפתח לתקווה לאהבה
Gentlemen, please be upstanding for Hatikva, led by Neve Eric.